Kawhi Leonard didn't exactly come out of nowhere. He was a top 100 player in high school, Mr. Basketball in the state of California, and then a second-team All-American for a 34-3 San Diego State team. He was a big reason why San Diego State was ranked the #2 defense in the country that season. And he was also their go-to guy on offense. But that's not to say Kawhi's offensive role and skill set hasn't changed over the years. And this video is going to take a look at that offensive evolution. Kawhi's jump shot is the obvious place to start. While he hasn't had a complete mechanical overhaul since the college days, the stroke has gotten much more efficient and consistent. At San Diego State, not every rep looked the same. Kawhi shot just 25% from 3 in his 2 years in college, and it allowed opponents to help off of him when he didn't have the ball. If you help too much as a defender and lose sight of the ball, it opens up cutting opportunities. But Kawhi did have a tendency of sometimes finding himself in no man's land. Not spotting up for a 3, but also being unsure of when and where to cut. These spacing issues weren't unique to just Kawhi, but San Diego State as a whole. They were a top 10 team in college basketball, but really in spite of their spacing. And that's largely thanks to defense and rebounding. Opponents would shrink the floor and send extra long stunts and help at the ball handler. The last play you just saw was a favorite of Steve Fisher's to get Kawhi a look. In this horn set, Kawhi would receive the ball for either an elbow ball screen or an ISO. Notice how this play was always trying to get Kawhi going to his right, which was a theme during his college days. Even when Kawhi did drive left, he was looking to spin back to the right. Kawhi wasn't always at the elbow in the horn's alignment. Here he's in the ball side corner, which triggers an empty side ball screen for Kawhi. He liked to use that empty corner to reject the screen and go right. When Kawhi was on the weak side corner in horns, San Diego State looked to then bring him over to the strong side for a post-up. Again, these post-ups had the same spacing issues as drives, with help defenders dropping to the level and stunting at the ball. Kawhi would also act occasionally as the point guard in horns, only to cut for a similar post-up to what we saw before. Even though the San Diego State offense was fairly predictable, it's not like there's really a magical scheme or play to solve these spacing and gravity issues. Kawhi was given a big offensive workload. The primary off-ball actions of the offense were usually to get him into a scoring opportunity. And while he wasn't super efficient, the offense was good enough to just allow the defense to win games. Kawhi was fairly consistent from his freshman year to sophomore year at San Diego State. He had a usage rate of 26% as a freshman, which means that 26% of all SDSU possessions ended with him either taking a shot or turning it over. That slightly increased to 28% in year 2. In his rookie season with the Spurs, he had a much different offensive role. His usage went way down, but his true shooting percentage was actually higher. In his NBA debut, he played 13 minutes and went 2 for 9 from the floor for 6 points. Here's one of his first possessions, and right away you can see the contrast from college. He wasn't the guy on the receiving end of screens anymore. Here he sets a wedge screen for Thiago Splitter and then simply spaces out to the corner. His welcome to the NBA moment came at the hands of Rudy Gay, who picked his pocket in the backcourt for a dunk and then proceeded to sag off of a hesitant Kawhi in the half court. It's not too big of a surprise that his first NBA bucket came off of an offensive rebound. He had 4 of those rebounds in the game. And he did make the sagging defense pay one time with his first career 3 off the behind the back from Ginobili. Kawhi scored 20 points just one time in his rookie year, which came against the Trailblazers. And even in that game, it wasn't a result of the Spurs running offense for him. He had a good chunk of his points in transition, and in the second half, he did pick his spots for a few isolations, scoring against both LaMarcus Aldridge and Marcus Camby after ball screen switches. If we fast forward to 2014 now, Kawhi won Finals MVP that season just before his 23rd birthday. While the MVP was well-deserved, the real theme for that team was ball movement. They were one of the best passing teams of all time. Kawhi's role in the offense had increased, but his usage rate and shot volume were still well below Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili. Kawhi's emergence as an offensive threat made the Spurs system that much harder to stop. Here's the Spurs' famous motion weak play for a screen the screener. Kawhi sets the cross screen only to receive a pin down from the trail big. In his rookie year, putting Kawhi in this action would have been somewhat pointless, but by year 3, he was a highly functioning piece to San Antonio's flow offense. The Spurs were by no means a heavy isolation team, but Kawhi did get some opportunities against Miami. But one of the biggest swings to the series was deciding how to guard Kawhi off the ball. LeBron was commonly put in off-ball situations guarding Kawhi as either Parker or Ginobili were creating with a ball screen. Up to this point in his career, teams would just crowd the paint and dare Kawhi to shoot, which is what LeBron does here. And LeBron spent a lot of the series trying to get away with this coverage. At San Diego State, Kawhi took one three-point attempt every 14 minutes he was on the court. His three-point percentage improved from freshman to sophomore year, but was still below 30%. In his rookie year, he stayed at 1 attempt per 14 minutes, but shot 38%. By the 2014 finals, Kawhi was taking 1 3 per 10 minutes. To help contextualize that, LeBron's career average has been 1 3-point attempt per 9 minutes. Steph Curry's 4. Kawhi has shot a solid percentage throughout his career. His season low was last season, but he only played 9 games total. It's his volume that has improved. Remember, the Spurs were one of the best offenses of all time. You had to give something up against them, and that makes it hard to say whether or not LeBron's passive defense on Kawhi was optimal or not. But regardless, Kawhi made him pay. He shot 58% from 3 in the series. And the other thing he often tried against LeBron closeouts was to catch the ball on the move to immediately get downhill. That leads us to the present, where Kawhi's offensive development has really exceeded expectations. The same player that shot 21% from 3 at San Diego State now forces defenses to locate him early in transition to take away pull-up threes. He also has, of course, become the primary creator for the Raptors in the half court. He'll dribble the ball up as essentially a point guard and go straight into a top-of-the-key isolation. Andre Iguodala was a warrior to have some success slowing down Kawhi in one-on-one situations, keeping him in front and using his quick hands. So instead, the Raptors did some matchup hunting to switch Iguodala off of Kawhi to then isolate the Warriors' centers instead. Looney, Cousins, and Bogut all got picked on at different times during the finals. And there's no better evidence to the rise of Kawhi Leonard as an elite scorer than looking at the Warriors' defense early in the finals after those matchup hunts. Here, when Bogut gets hunted, Draymond comes to trap the ball, risking a potential 4-on-3 in order to get the ball out of Kawhi's hands. And even when the Warriors rotate back to even strength and Kawhi gets the ball again, Draymond traps a second time. Kawhi has done a lot of things throughout his career at an elite level that don't even necessarily involve scoring. But now you can add scoring to that list. With the ability to now force 2 defenders to the ball, just like a LeBron or Curry or Harden, the offensive evolution is complete for the 27-year-old 2-time Finals MVP.